Hello everybody and welcome back to the greatest live show of all time. That is right, everybody. Today we're doing yet another episode of Dead Channel Maxing. I'm so excited. It's much like algorithm maxing, but the fundamental distinction between, algorithm maxing and dead channel maxing is that dead channel maxing is like algorithm maxing, but where your channel is dead, so you don't do particularly well in the algorithm. With that being said, I will be including timestamps in the description below for any of the VOD watchers, because we are going to be doing some stream segment-oriented stuff today. We're also going to be doing a just chatting segment to start out with. On the agenda today, we've actually got one of my viewers who debated somebody named Goddamnit Malcom, and I'm going to be doing an analysis of that, a critique of that, if you will. I'm probably going to be tearing both parties involved a new one, assuming that that's what they're into, consensually. With that being said, congratulations, Angel HH, you're the first person in chat. Hello, Jan P, Wee, Totoro, Suki, Formula, DeQuavius, John, Dingleberry III Jr., Lilith the Foxy, AC Unit, Matthew, Swan Stuff, James Cecil, Kanan Lewis, Totoro, Fixie Pixie, Aspiring Wannabe. I hope you're all doing well today. Yes, we're gonna make YouTube great again. Ever since I started dead channel maxing, ever since YouTube and the fake news media has deprioritized my channel in the YouTube live stream shorts algorithm, YouTube has not been the same. They've destroyed YouTube. We need to make YouTube great again. Femi is the cutest. Why, thank you. I very much appreciate that. Hello, Lily Esuna. But yeah. I think we'll just start out with like a little bit of a just chatting segment, if you will. And then we'll get into the main meat of the topic, if you know what I'm saying. Hello, Batal Crafter. Very good to see you as well. Hell yeah. We're gonna build an algorithm, and we're gonna make YouTube pay for that algorithm. Femi, I'm sorry I can't make it a stream as often. No worries. It's A-okay if you can't make it. I had a bad habit of overworking myself and then passing out from exhaustion a few hours before you stream. No worries. Whatever you gotta do. Whatever you gotta do. Anyways. Hello, Osami. Good to see you again. Looking adorable as always, Femi. Thank you. Thank you, Batowcrafter. Very much appreciated. Are you saying you're gonna take a big media content bite? You better believe I am. Hello, Chillin' Villain saying butt sex. I couldn't possibly agree more with this sentiment. Femi is the cutest and the bottomiest. I am not bottomy. I'll have you find. This makes me so angry. Your voice sounds off. Why does it sound off? What sounds off? I'm so confused. What makes it sound off? Hello, Blazetail saying, you're my favorite YouTuber. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. Bottom response. No response of mine has ever been bottomy. With that being said, oh my god, my hair is like an actual mess. My hair is a mess. I know, that's so sad. What am I going to do about it? Do I leave it like this? Hello guys, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you're all doing well today. Do you guys like my hair? It is very good. It is my favorite hairdo. It's very messy. I'm sorry. What do I do to fix it? I think if I just let it down, it'll just be like objectively better if I like let it down and brush it. Okay? Like right now it's like a complete mess. Okay? It's a mess. It's a mess, but we're gonna make it great again. We need to make my hair great again by putting the right amount of product in it, not using too much or too little shampoo and conditioner. Don't overdry it with the hairdryer, but dry it enough for it to not look greasy. Anyways, Femi against Christians, the fight for the queers is so real. Dude, that would be a great movie. That would be an incredible movie. Your hair depressing needs cleanup? Huh? My hair depressing? What does that even... What is a hair depressing? A hair depressing. What does that even mean? Hi, but I'm not a bottom. Do you know about the foundation and any... Which foundation? The one singular foundation? Just the one? There's only one of them? I'm sorry. What in the fuckity fuck are we talking about here? Femyoz should eat peas in the bathtub to be 10 times as attractive. This is true, by the way, Gabs. Thank you for sharing. So silly. Nuh-uh, I would never be silly. I think that you're silly. Real. I agree, Nate. Hello, Bohouse. Saying, howdy, my fellow pervert. Oh, you better not be pervert. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. What am I even saying anymore? Oh my goodness gracious. Stop with the accent. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be ripping my ears off. It sounded like Trump. It wasn't. Huh? What? The fuck are you doing? Dressed as a girl if you ain't given up some butt? Look, I know you want to rail me, but like, be a little bit more subtle. Jesus fucking Christ. Holy shit. Love the gloves, Gwirly. Why, thank you. I very much appreciate that. Anyways, IDK what the topic is, but peas are extremely good and tasty, especially in soup. Look, peas aren't that bad. They could be better, they could be worse. They're not terrible. They're one of the better vegetables, but that's kind of a low standard. Because, like, I'm gonna be real, vegetables on average taste worse than everything else. I'm just saying. In order to make the United States of America great again, we need to eat more McDonald's. Is this actually how you talk? Yeah, dude, when I do the Trump impression, that's exactly how I talk in person. Like, you're talking to me in real life, I just start doing the fucking Donald J. Trump impression. That's exactly how I talk. How did you know? You're a genius. Dude, oh my god, you remember the eating the peas in the bathtub video? No, not the peas! Ah, anything but the peas! Dude, the classic Filthy Frank era. Dude, that was a certified hood classic. Back when I would copy Filthy... Dude, maybe I should go back to that. I'd make you a bottom. Nuh-uh. Streamlabs.com/Femyoz, y'all. This is true. Osami makes a very good point. If you want to support the channel, the Streamlabs link is in the pinned message. Streamlabs.com/Femyoz. I'm just saying. You know, even if it's just $1, I read any and all donations. We've got donor rewards in the description of this, so, you know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Or, alternatively, if you don't have any money, if you're a broke-ass bitch like me, the easiest thing you can do, that's free and easy and that there's no logical reason not to do, is to double tap to smash like. Come on, why wouldn't you? Am I right? Just no logical reason not to. I'm just saying, okay? And I am objectively correct here in my analysis, okay? Everything I am saying is empirically correct, okay? Dude, I kind of fuck with my hair today. Dude, what is going on? I honestly have no idea. But you know what? I like my hair, okay? I like my hair. I think my hair is good. I think my hair is great. Ooh, also, did you know that if you go to femyoz.shop, if it'll load, that you can cop my merch? Holy shit. Okay? You've got a couple of designs. Actually, I think I prefer the black design a little bit more. And then you've got this. Or if you want something more discreet, that you wouldn't necessarily look at and think, yeah, dude, that's you wouldn't really, nobody's gonna know what this is. They're just gonna think, oh, that's a cool design. Where'd you get it from? Or something, maybe. I don't know. Then you could cop one of these. I love this design. I made it all by myself. And I think it looks sick. And I can't wait for it to arrive in the mail. Pigtail Femi when? I don't even know how to do pigtails. I'd have to have somebody do it for me. Okay? But, yeah, it's high quality stuff. It's great. It's great stuff. Rigged AF? What's rigged AF? I think, but yeah, if y'all are interested in some of these items, I do highly recommend, going to femyoz.shop. That's femyoz.shop. Now then, with that being said, where is Bunk? Well, we'll have to have them back at some point, because obviously I thoroughly enjoy having them here. I like peace. Yeah, that's fair enough. Force Femyoz to cosplay as, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I don't even know who that is. Unban my name, man. You know, you're kind of... You're incentivizing people to ban your alt by saying that. You surely, if you were gonna ban evade, you'd be a little bit smarter than that. You wouldn't just like tell everybody, hey, by the way, I'm a ban evader. I was like banned on my main account, and this is my alt. You know, normally you're gonna be a little bit smarter than that. I'm just saying. Bunk B doing too much when they're around you. I think that they're doing the exact correct amount. How many mods does Femyoz have total? Do they know? I'm guessing maybe as many as 60. I actually don't know. Some people end up being a little bit more inactive over time, but I never unmod people because I don't really gain anything from, like, being like, when was the last stream that they've been around? Like, I'm not gonna monitor that. I don't care. It's, like, not gonna cause any harm to the channel. Like, if somebody's been a mod for a while and then they're, like, inactive, they can come back where they left off, okay? They can always come back where they left off, and, you know, there's no pressure. And, like, they don't, like, look, here's the thing when it comes to being one of my mods. You don't have to do anything. You could just, reap the rewards of having a blue name. That, like, that's it. And, like, I guarantee that you won't, like, that you won't get, like, accidentally false banned, and then, I don't know. Normally, we don't have those issues, but there have been a few times where I've had to, like, go back and, like, look, okay, is this person, like, hidden? Is YouTube, like, shadow banning them? Like, what's going on here? Anyways. If Femyoz has 100 mods, I'm one of them. If Femyoz has 10 mods, I'm one of them. If Femyoz has 1 mod, it's me. And if Femyoz has no mods, it means I'm dead. That's so real! That's so real. Dude, I love that quote. It's such a good quote. Dude, add more zero. Dude, I forgot about the add more zeros being. That was a classic. It was a classic when I was, like, making fun of Olive Oil Run, like, on a fucking daily basis. Dude, that shit was so good. Dude, I wonder what she's up to. I don't know. We'll farm her again later at some point, because she is obviously... She's one of the cows, of course, you know. And I do love farming the cows, but I don't know. You look pretty today. Thank you, Chan. I really appreciate that. You should try a middle part. Trust me, I should not. Hey, man, how you doing? I'm doing all right. How are you? Dude. Let me nut in your butt is crazy. That's crazy. You look pretty every day, though. Thank you. I look fat today. I need to lose weight again. Fun fact, bottoms always brush their hair to the right. God damn it! No! Well, I just brushed it to the left, which means that I'm not a bottom. Checkmate, liberal. So yeah, I either proved that I'm not a bottom or that you're wrong, right? I'm just saying. I think I proved successfully that I'm not a bottom. If you're fat, I'm a whale. That's probably not true. Only tops do middle parts. I'm not doing a middle part. No. I'm not doing middle part. I do not want to do middle part. I would be very sad. I would not enjoy that very much. That just means you're a brat too. Shut up. No, I'm not. Tops shave bald nowadays? That's not true. How many femdoms are shaving bald? That's bullshit. That would make them not so femme, and I wouldn't like that. Mini nickname is soft teddy bear. That's so true. You must enjoy. What must I enjoy? Guys, remember, they are not a bottom. I'm not one. Okay? You guys better remember that. It's a very important detail. Either way, you're still you. This is true, by the way. I am, in fact, me. How did you know? That's true. Femdoms might rock a side shave, maybe. Well, that's true. A side shave could work. That's different, though. That's actually hot, okay? That's like a good look. Okay, anyways. I only know butch lesbians with buzz cuts, yeah. I don't know. I do prefer, like, a more, like, femme sort of aesthetic. You're so pretty tonight. I love you, girl. Thank you, Tracy. I really appreciate that. Bottoms always have shaven pits. Shut up. Daily reminder you are about. Why am I getting bullied? What is happening? How expensive was the surgery? Joke's on you. I've never gotten a surgery. Okay? You can ask your mom all about it, okay? I railed her last night. Is that your real hair? Yes, what the fuck else would it be? My fake hair? It was my, like, it's attached to my head? What the fuck you want me to do? Spread of them cheeks is crazy. Crazy, I tell you. That's crazy. That's crazy. Genuine question, what's your birth gendette? What is a gendette? Would you like to explain to me what a gendette is? Is that your real No, I'm wearing a fake face. It's not real. It's not real. It's a figment of your imagination. The fake news media has convinced you all that this is my real face. It's not. It is AI slop, okay? It's not real. It doesn't exist in reality. It's AI generated. I'm gonna go back to making music. We'll enjoy making music, I hope. Are you a boy or a girl? Yes, I am at least one of those things. Indeed. God, I pressed the wrong button. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. I don't like when I do that. How old are you? I'm 20. How old did you think I was? I like your eyes. Thank you. ABDL bottom is... No, we're not doing this again. No, chat. No, we're not doing... That was satire. Okay, it's satire. It was satire. I am big, strong. Big, strong top. Ah. Okay. Your man voice came out? Yeah, that was me. That was me demonstrating how dominant I truly am. You're just showing off how much of a giga chat I can be. Hypothetically, what would you do if I was hiding in your walls? I'd allow you to stay. All right, it's free real estate. I almost spit out my drink. Why would you spit out your drink, bro? That would be crazy, bruh. Oh my god. I just saw the new Lyrios on YouTube the other day. This edgy teenager. They did absurdist comedy. Dude, I love Lyrios. They're such a... Dude, they're so funny. Chat, do you guys like Lyrios? Dude, I love Lyrios. They're my favorite. How do you do female voice or good voice training, honestly? I can do a better girl voice than guy voice at this point. You know who else? Voice. Wait, what? I'm so confused. But yeah, dude, I love the Lyrios YouTube channel. They're so funny. Dude, who is the... Dude, if I search Lyrios, what shows up is... Oh, okay. People that put my name in the title for Minecraft PvP montages. The fuck you. Okay, fine. I have to search it by channel. Because people would just put known players in the dude, people would just put known players in the fucking description tags and titles of their fucking Minecraft no debuff montages. Okay, here's the Lyrios YouTube channel. There we go. Oh, I love this person. Oh, fuck, I need to update this section. God damn it. I haven't done that yet. I'll do that after stream. Dude, that person was so funny. They're my favorite absurdist comedian. Femyoz and Lyrios get in a fight. If it's a physical fight, Lyrios is winning. I'm like super fucking weak compared to how strong I used to be, okay? I used to be able to do like 80 push-ups or some shit. Maybe a little less than that. Somewhere from 70 to 80 push-ups, okay? I can't even do 10 anymore, okay? I'm sorry, but Lyrios would beat the fuck out of me. I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest. Does the existence of Femyoz imply the existence of Maskios? Yes. And his name is Lyrios. Then again, if I made a video on Lyrios, then that would immediately become Femyoz, and then Maskios would be its own separate thing. That'd be like Lyrios before the transition, I guess. I don't know. Are you into submission? No, I am a big, strong top, actually. I would never be submissive. Top or bottom, not trying to be rude. I am a top, okay? Stop saying I'm a bottom. You got a cute little voice box? When did you realize you were trans? Like a year ago. Last year. Last year? It was last year! Anyways. What am I even saying? I don't even know. Dom/sub is fun. Yeah, haha. Imagine if I was sub. You're a cute little bottom, too weak to lift. No. That's not true. No. The voice switches are crazy. What voice switches are we talking about here? Sub, that's what people watching should do. That's true. That's true. You should subscribe to the Femyoz YouTube channel if you haven't already. It's like the objectively correct thing to do. I'm just saying. How long are you streaming? I'm gonna be streaming for like a couple hours or something. I don't know. However long I feel like. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Tell the truth then. I fucking dare you. Just did a let's go. Yay. Yay. So fun. Bottom or bottom? Wait, that's not fair. That is not fair, okay? This is rigged. It's rigged. The election is being rigged. It was stolen from me. Did you chop them off? Is crazy. Are you real? No, I'm not real. Let's see here. Dude, ugly being trans. In 2024, it's wild. Okay, let's see what you look like. Oh, you're just like really, you just like look fat. Like your face just looks fat. It's just like made out of fat. Dude, I'm sorry, you cannot be calling me ugly when your face is wider than it is long. Like, what are you talking about? That's fucking crazy. Like, bro, that's dude, why are her eyes so fucking far apart? Like, bro, I could fit my entire fucking shoe between both of her eyes. Dude, why? Dude, I'm sorry. That is the. It's like, I don't even know if I would say it's round. It's like an oval, but like in the wrong direction. Looks like Ben Shapiro. Of course, it's a Christian. Yeah. It's one of these like low IQ freaks that has like that they just look really dysgenic. I love the Lord God is King. Bro, this is how you know it was written by a retarded person. I love the Lord God is King. It's so bad. I love the Lord God is King. I like sports. I'm a girl and I'm just waiting to upgrade to TikTok. I act gay, but I'm not. Okay, guys, she's not gay. She only acts gay. She's not gay, okay? It's really important to clarify that. Just so you all know, I am straight. I like men and not women, okay? Okay, guys? I'm not gay. And I have a funny personality. I love the show, How to Train Your Dragon. Wait, isn't that a movie? Is that a show? Is that a show as well? It is the best thing you could ever watch. I'm gonna have to firmly disagree there, okay? Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, is objectively superior, okay? And no, it's not just because Hayden Christensen is hot, okay? It definitely doesn't hurt, but, like, also, like, look, okay? Here, give me a second, okay? Okay, chat here. Give me a fucking second, okay? All right, dude, hold on. Hold on. Give me a second, okay? Dude, all right? You cannot tell me that he's fucking hot, okay? I'm sorry. He's just hot. Okay? The things I would let this man do to me, okay? but that's besides the point, okay? Anyways, I, smash it, I'm not even gay. See, you guys get it. You guys get it. He's hot as fuck. This pic is 25 years old. Please tell. No, 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 no. Don't tell me it is. No, no, no. Don't tell me it's 25. Oh, that's so fucked. That's fucked up. Neil the Vader. Dude, I would. Dude. Or like Darth Vader before getting burnt. Like, when he's like evil. Dude. Wait. Chat. I'm sorry, but like, dude. Smash, okay? Smash, okay? He's like a baddie. Dude, he's got the yellow eyes and shit. He's a fucking baddie, okay? Darth Vader is Anakin. Yeah, but I'm talking about like when he's evil and has like the yellow eyes. Like, come on, dude. Don't say you wouldn't. Okay, I'm sorry, but I remember being like 5 years old and having a crush on him, and like literally nothing has changed, okay? Nothing has changed. I'm just older now. Okay. Anyways. Oh, sorry. We just had to. Dude, got into so many different side tangents. Holy shit. Oh my god. Hold on. Born is a chamois? What the fuck does that mean? Do you want to debate? Wait, debate over what? What's your debate proposition? What is your debate proposition, Graceful? I would like to know. What is your point of contention? Why go for Anakin when there are hotter droids this time? Okay, you're fucked up. Femyoz, what's your opinion of Lilith? There's multiple people named Lilith. I just want to know your takes on trans kids getting surgery. Yeah, I'm generally against them getting, like, actual surgery. Puberty blockers and HRT, I'm cool with, okay? As long as, if the doctor could sense that the child wants it and the parents consent, there's literally no reason to be against it, right? Like, that's just like an obvious fact of the matter when it comes to making medical decisions, right? Like, so fucking obvious, right? And I would apply, like, whatever the age of medical consent is for that type of stuff, right? Okay, no need to debate then. Yeah, like, here's the thing, okay? Here's the distinction that I make, okay? When it comes to surgeries, it doesn't magically become more difficult to get bottom surgery as you get older, right? That doesn't become more difficult. It does become more difficult to transition and pass in society as you get older. Like, the more you're forced to go through the wrong puberty, the worse it gets, the more dysphoric you get, and the more likely you are to fucking kill yourself. The UK banned puberty blockers indefinitely. Yeah, no, I mean, it's literally Hitlerite shit, right? Like, I'm sorry. It's just like, yeah, no, it's literally just like, it's like far-right Hitler shit. That's what I consider it, okay? You're maximizing the suicide rate of trans people. They know that that's what they're doing. They know that's the outcome. They just don't care because, they benefit politically, right? Their goal ultimately is to maximize the suicide rate of trans people. Which is statistically proven to be the direct result of banning necessary medical care like that. Is it maximizes death, right? So it's like the pro-death position. It's like it's pro-death, pro-suffering, right? Yeah, that's not true. It objectively is. What did I say that isn't true? Yep, and they're using the cast report for their justification. No, here's the thing: is anyone that actually understands how science works has fucking torn the cast report apart. I'm sorry. It's been fucking torn apart by actual fucking scientists. Like it's so shit. It's like their methodology has been fucking torn apart. Because what they'll do is they will hyper focus on studies that just really didn't find anything. Be like, yes, we're gonna focus on that, and then they ignore or downplay the significance of studies that go against their already existing conclusion and pretend like they don't exist. And if you pretend like all of the evidence that demonstrates that gender affirming care is beneficial to trans people, then sure, you could claim that there's insufficient evidence, as long as you ignore all of the sufficient evidence. Like, it's fucking stupid, right? It's fucking brain dead. Like, it's like one of the most anti-scientific reports that's ever been done, right? Like, you're starting with the conclusion on the basis of your political beliefs, and you're working backwards. This is antithetical to the scientific method. It's like these people don't even know what the fucking scientific method is. Or they do and they just don't care. I've been on poop hormone for 10 years. Dude, that's so based. You're so real for that one. Why didn't you want to be your gender that you were given, bruh? Because that would give me dysphoria and I'd rather kill myself. What are you talking about? Why didn't you be the gender God gave you? Because God isn't real, you fucking retard. Dude, I wipe my ass with the Bible, all right? When I go to the store and steal the Bible, okay? I fucking steal it, okay? So that less people get to read it, and then I fucking tear out all the pages and use it as toilet paper, okay? I fucking wipe my ass with that shit. Dude, why are you moving to hate? Dude, Jesus had a foot fetish, okay? Dude, wait, actually, did you know that Jesus Christ was actually a pedophile? Dude, I know, it's crazy. Dude. Roll a joint with Bible pages? Hell yeah, dude. Don Joe gets it. You're my new favorite person. Let's go. Do you like God? No. God is retarded and doesn't exist. I'm sorry. Like, even from, like, a canonical standpoint, even from, like, an internal standpoint, your God fucking sucks. I'm sorry. He's just, like, a piece of shit. It's like, oh, okay, like, committing mass genocide, doing, like, a massive flood, genociding people that include innocent people. Ooh, I don't know, like, if you support your God from the Bible, okay, then you necessarily support genocide, and, I'm not sure if that's a bullet you want to bite. Ooh, I don't know about that one, Chief. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, if you're pro-genocide and pro-slavery, two things that God and the Bible is endorsed, I mean, okay, I guess they're internally consistent then. Anyways, you going to hell? I'm actually not, because hell isn't real. Hell isn't real. You don't have to like God, but please don't disrespect him, dude. I fucking wipe my ass with the Bible. What are you gonna do about it? You gonna piss and shit and cum in your pants? Is it alright if you read out my points if I DM them to you? I mean, if we don't disagree on anything, then what's the point of that? Do we disagree on anything? You said that we agreed, right? I usually don't engage with things I agree with. Because, like, I already agree with them. That's just a circle jerk. Yeah, hell Michigan or hell Norway? That's a good question. Good question. Anyways. Again, where is the proof of your info? Which info specifically? What are we talking about? Because I've said multiple things. So, like, what thing did I say that you need substantial proof for? Not the side part in 2020. Okay, alright. No. This is too far, okay? Alright, you can call me slurs, okay? You could say that, but dissing the side part? Okay, now that's where I draw the line. What the hell? I literally scrolled down from a Jesus Bible to the verse to this. Let's go! Dude, YouTube knows that once you scroll past it, you gotta find shit that's based and funny. You are so immature, but you have nice hair. Thank you, I guess. I don't know how I should feel, but I'm very mature, okay? I'm 20, okay? Alright? I'm not really a young shit trans person, okay? I'm not a young shit troon, okay? But I'm still young, okay? I'm enjoying myself. I'm having fun. Let's make this men viral and locate him. How about let's not spam in my chat? Oh shit, somebody already hid you. Oh no. Master Chief, where you go? Why you disappear? What is going on here? Why you disappear? Oh no, that is so sad. Why he disappear? I am going to cry. If you're 20, your brain hasn't fully developed because your brain fully develops when you're 25. What? Okay. Cool. I don't know what your point is. I'm trans, how do I come up to my parents? You go up to them, okay? Alright? Okay, pretend Pretend like this camera is your mom or your dad or both of them at the same time, okay? All right? Hold on. Hey, Mom, Dad. No, fuck, I fucked it up. God damn it. Hold on, wait, dude. Shit. This is what sucks about a live format. I'm gay, okay? That's me. No! Get away from my messy ass. Stop it! Dude. You are. Dude! Dude, hold on. Dude, it literally is just. Dude, the camera just wouldn't track me. But yeah, if you're wondering how you come out, that's what you do. That's what you do. Oh, okay. If your parents are homophobic, okay? What you gotta do is you gotta play it safe, okay? Come out if it's safe. If/when it's safe to do so, okay? If you want real advice. Oh. How did you come up to your parents? I was just like, oh yeah, by the way. Just like as casually as possible. Yeah, just so you're aware, you know. Just like super ultra confidently. Like, yeah, dude. I'm like giga chatting it. Like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm just gonna go on HRT, just so you know. Just so you're aware. So like if you wonder why I like, you know, like start looking more feminine, that's why. So yeah. Your hair is very, very pretty, thank you. What is your info about trans blockers wanting to kill Hold on, wait. Do you think that they have to, like, directly say, I am hereby declaring that my intentions is to maximize the suicide rate of trans people? No, all you have to do is look at the outcome. And if that's the outcome, then that's obviously going to be the intention, right? So if it's the case that they are doing something that maximizes that negative outcome, then they do intend on doing the thing that maximizes the suicide rate of trans people. These people are child killers, okay? They're kid killers. That's what they are. Anyone that is in favor of banning gender-affirming care for minors is a kid killer, whether they realize it or not. Serious, Yos? Hell yeah. So you're pro-life then? Pro-life of who? What do you mean by pro-life? Are we talking about fetuses? No, because I don't think that fetuses are worth any moral consideration, right? They're not sentient. They don't experience qualia. No, people that are in favor of banning gender-affirming care are actual kid killers, right? They're killing people that actually experience qualia and are worth moral consideration. I know you're a Sith. How did you know? Dude, I'm one of the... Dude. I think babies barely count as life. Yeah, abortion is objectively good. Now, I'm not saying that I'd be in favor of, I don't know, getting an abortion 5 minutes before the baby pops out the pussy, right? Not in favor of that, right? But within the first, is it at least 30 weeks? It's been scientifically demonstrated that the fetuses just aren't sentient. Like, it's just like knowledge that we have, right? Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's almost like denying access to healthcare fucking kills people. I wish I was aborted. Same. Yeah, no, but if they have no nervous system or consciousness, right? Like, if they're not conscious, if they don't have the capacity to experience consciousness, then why would we give them moral consideration? But my heartbeat. It's like, okay, but like, you could argue that a rat would be still worth more moral consideration on that basis alone, right? Because like they'd be more sentient than a human fetus, right? Or like a clump of cells, right? Anyways, I would kill myself for a baby, not the other way. Or what are we talking about? Are you talking about fetuses? Like, you do realize that fetuses are about as sentient as trees. Like, yeah, they're technically living, right? That doesn't mean that they're sentient, conscious, or worth moral consideration. The same way that we don't give plants or trees moral consideration. Because they're not conscious. They can't feel things, right? Anyways. Let's see here. If all you preach is true, then why do you lose? Trump will take care of all you wackos. So this is what we call the ad populum fallacy, right? So whether or not whether or not somebody wins or loses the election, does not ultimately determine whether or not they're correct, right? Like if it's the case that, I don't know, let's say leftists started winning, then you wouldn't subscribe to the ad populum fallacy, right? And neither would I. I wouldn't be like, oh, well, it's because they're right. No, I would just say, oh, well, that's just like a happy coincidence that like good things are being promoted, right? My favorite fallacy is ad Eminem. So real. Because people vote. Yeah. Do you think that everybody that votes is correct? What about the people that way back in the day voted in favor of slavery? Were they correct? The answer is obviously no. It was actually the case that Abraham Lincoln was extremely unpopular back in the day. In fact, the only reason he was able to win is because there were two other candidates with an opposing position that was pro-slavery and way less progressive, and the fact that they were competing with each other that allowed Abe Lincoln to win. But Abe Lincoln didn't actually get that many votes. If he was just going against one or the other, he would have lost. So, but I would hope that you would still argue that what Abe Lincoln did was objectively correct. It was morally good. Yeah. Yes, he was the GOAT, one of the few good U.S. presidents. But it wasn't on the basis of what people voted for, necessarily. All life deserves to live. So do you think it'd be like, what if it was the case that like cutting down a tree made a human's life infinitely better? You just like be against it because like all life is valuable and like it doesn't matter like what the actual consequences are? Like what? According to y'all, there's no objective right or wrong? What are you talking about? I'm a moral realist. Like, do you not know what hedonic act utilitarianism is? Who is y'all? Like, are you talking about center-left people? Okay, I'm like a far-left, like, I don't know if I'd go as far as to say I'm a philosophy nerd. Okay, that would imply that I'm, like, kind of smart. But, like, no, I'm, like, a moral realist. Like, you know that, right? You can't say that it's all relativistic when I'm, like, an anti-relativist, right? I take a very anti-relativist stance. That doesn't necessarily kill the tree. If you cut down the tree, do you think that the tree is going to be alive or dead? What do you think you're doing there? Let's see here. Let's see. Over 27 studies were included. Quality of life was analyzed retrospectively in 20 studies and prospectively in 7 studies showing transitioning surgery improves quality of life. Oh yeah. But obviously conservatives will ignore that because it's not convenient for their argument. That's right after they transition, but looks what happens within the next 20 years when all these people were great having these pedophiles change their mind. What are you talking about? You're just like making shit up, right? You think that like if you just like say words that people will be convinced by them? Like, you have to like substantiate claims that you make, right? Like, it's like, where are you getting this from? You're just saying words. They think they're happy and they're not. Okay, do you have like any evidence? Because all of the empirical evidence that currently exists demonstrates the literal opposite. Like, what are you talking about? Look what happens in 20 years. Yeah, they're still happier than they would have been. They're glad that they transitioned. Anyways. With that being said, I do want to get into the debate. Lily, are you still here? Are you still here? If she's not still here, somebody ping her on Discord if they have her, because we're gonna be reacting to a debate between Lily, one of my mods, and Goddamnit, Malcom. Oh my god. Okay, you are here. Okay. Chat. How many of you are familiar with the YouTube channel Goddamnit Malcom? Probably not many of you, right? It's not that he's like in a completely different sphere. He's in a little bit of a different sphere than I am. He's pretty niche. He's probably like about as niche as I am, right? Some people in some communities know who he is. Other people don't. But he has like 6,500 subscribers, okay? And long story short, one of my viewers, Lily in chat, who's one of my mods, decided to debate them. So yeah, let's watch it. Oh wait, I need to make it normal speed. Okay.
Hello.
What's popping? What's new? What's fresh?
Alright.
You know, just living life and all that.
Honestly, very relatable.
Saw your stream. I saw you went. You don't usually. I don't usually get a ton of notifications on my phone. Whenever you
Me personally, I always just have my phone on Do Not Disturb.
live stream, but for whatever reason, like it was a weird thing. I saw both from Alex's perspective, like his debate with Mary Chu, and then your reaction to it. And like when I saw Alex's like original thing of it, I'm just like, oh, it's just some guy debating a dumb fuck trans med. It's I thought it was like I don't know if he did like an absolute perfect job doing.
Dude, not Lily Orchard. Thank you for the clarification.
Like he got kind of yelly at one point, but whatever. But like, I didn't think too much of it. And then like I was kind of shocked to see that like you were like going against like Alex stuff. Like you were trying to do this like thing of like oh, he wasn't doing.
Okay. Right off the bat, I can tell that you're nervous. You are really nervous right here. You're stuttering. You do not sound particularly confident. That's my first critique. Okay? You're very nervous.
And he's not being like an amazing ally.
I do have it sped up a little bit, just FYI.
And not getting like not doing all the arguments properly or whatever. And like, I guess I can kind of see that. And I was with you to a point, and then like, I guess like during they got to the part of the debate where they were kind of talking about autogynephilia stuff, and you were like, you kind of said something that took me aback about like, Alec was basically saying like,
This is funny. Sometimes I take notes during debates if I'm like trying a little bit harder. Usually I don't have to do that though. Or like I'll only do it during the the beginning of the conversation when it's like relevant for like establishing their position so that I can like sort of understand it better.
There have been questionnaires put out, and they asked like basically cis women the same questions of like, that would be asked to quote unquote diagnose autogynephilia as if it were.
Yeah. Okay, this is a good line of argumentation to start with, right? So it seems to be the case that the main issue with Blanchard's typology is the fact that he failed to use a control group, right? So scientists later down the line accounted for that. They used a control group of cis women and found that by Blanchard's standards for his typology, a substantial, I think the majority of cis women would also be categorized as AGP, right? So it's kind of a meaningless distinction, right?
Or like an actual, real, legitimate thing, even though I think it's absolute bunk and pseudoscience at this point. But like,
You don't want to say I think, okay? You want to explain why it's pseudoscience. Like, just explain. Just the lack of the control group, right? You want to really focus on that. Because then you are criticizing the blatantly obvious flaw in the methodology itself, right? And then what that forces Malcom to do is to defend Blanchard's lack of a control group if he is going to invoke AGP as a standard, right? And that's going to be really difficult to do, right? Like, you'd have to be like absurdly good at debate to even do that, and you'd have to be a little bit dishonest in order to make that argument, right?
They asked cis women these questions, and they also would be technically diagnosed with autogynephilia, and your response was basically like, well, it's different if they're cis women. It's just different, and then it just got me thinking about all this previous stuff you said about, I hate to keep bringing it up because I know it annoys you, but like the stuff with involving Poppy, like, and basically saying like, she transitioned for fetishistic reasons because she watched Yuri manga or something, and it's just like it just got me thinking, and I just want to ask you at this point, like, what is your stance on autogynephilia? Like, do you like it's bunk? Yes, please say yes to that question.
So here's my position. You lay this all out way too soon. You don't want like an entire opening statement, right? What you want to say is, hey, by the way, and just like a quick synopsis of sort of what he believes, right? Or what you think he believes, and just be like, hey, by the way, this seems to be the case that this is like your position, right? If he denies it, give a specific example. If he affirms it, then be like, okay, so like why do you think that AGP is like a valid standard? And then you make the arguments for why it's not, right? Just to like sort of get the conversation moving. I mean, this is fine as an opening statement. It's just like a little bit, sloppy, I would argue. I would have definitely focused on like the fact that there's like not a control group, right? A control group for cis women. Like, why is it categorically different if it's cis women versus trans women, right? So that'd be a question that I think would be very important. Maybe I'll ask that specifically. And what is the justification for the lack of a control group, right? Because those are going to be really difficult questions for him to answer, right?
So like the theory that Ray Blanchard put forward, and this is what I said in like our last conversation, is that the theory itself is bunk, yes. But I think that,
hold on, if he agrees that it's bunk, then why would he invoke it as a standard?
like I said previously, is that there are individuals who do transition for fetishistic reasons or like for sexual gratification outside of the sense of like what would be appropriate for somebody who has gender dysphoria, where there is going to be that root uncomfortability with like, I don't have the genitals that I want, I can't engage sexually in the way that I want, versus like desire to want.
Okay, so what I would ask him is, do you believe that having gender dysphoria is a prerequisite for being trans?
Want to fill that essentially void for like a fetishistic reason, if that makes sense. And that's, you know, what I said the last time that we talked about it as well.
Yeah, and like,
so yeah, so right off the bat, he invoked dysphoria as like a standard for being trans, right? Or it seems to be the case that he implicitly did so, right? So I would have asked him, okay, do you believe that dysphoria is a prerequisite for being trans? I would actually be curious to know what his answer is. And then if he says yes, that's like a whole separate line of dialogue that we could go down. That sort of gets at the root of the issue. If he says no, it's like, okay, so what do you define gender based on? Like, what is gender on the basis of, right? And then you can sort of take the argument in that direction, right?
like, I'm still not fully on like, I'm not fully like seeing, like, because I've talked to a lot of trans people and a lot of trans people who've like,
okay, I'm gonna be completely real. Whether or not you've talked to trans people is irrelevant, right? You could talk to anybody, right? You could talk to a Nazi, a trans person, whoever it may be, right? That doesn't really support an argument one way or another. That's just like anecdotal, right? We don't really base what we believe off of anecdote. We base it off of data, right?
Discovered themselves via a like some sort of kink or porn or some kind of thing community of some kind, and like for the most part they seem like well-adjusted people.
Well, I think that what you could say, you could just frame this in the form of a question by being, like, you could just make this like a rhetorical question. Like, do you believe it's the case that somebody might, repress something and then, feel that the only way that they can express it is through kink, right? Or, do you think that kink could be a mechanism through which people discover things about themselves? That exist independent of kink, right? Like, do you believe it's the case that, like, somebody that, I don't know, starts out as or hell, even better, you could say that, well, there are many instances of people that start out with kink who also wanted to be the opposite gender before they had any sexual feelings, period, right? But that they repressed that, right? And then you could get into a conversation about, okay, well, what comes first, the gender incongruence or kink? Is it gender incongruence causing that kink to exist, or is that kink causing gender incongruence to exist? And if it's the case that there's, say, for instance, somebody that experiences gender incongruence first, if one causes the other, it's going to be gender incongruence causing the kink, because the kink wouldn't exist back then, right? It wouldn't exist when you're 5, right?
People, and it was just like, doing a lot of that stuff was more like an outlet to like kind of scratch the the gender dysphoria was still the reason for it. It was just like the kink and porn stuff was just more of an outlet to that. And it's like,
you're saying the same thing that I just said, but you're saying it a whole lot worse. But that's okay. You're not a debater. I get it.
Like that, would you count those people as transitioning for fetishistic reasons? Like, I'm just curious about that.
If you give me like a hypothetical person that like views like copious amounts of lesbian pornography, and their motivation for transitioning is that they want to be like a lesbian in the context of lesbian pornography, I would say like, yeah, that would be for like a fetishistic reason.
Okay, and that's where I like whole stop.
Okay, but what if it's the case that somebody wanted to be the opposite gender when they were 5, and then later down the line, it developed into a kink? Do you think that kink existed independent of their gender incongruence, or do you think it's the case that their gender incongruence caused the kink? Very simple question, right? And then maybe he could just, like, the only thing he can do there for his side of the argument is outright reject the hypothetical and say, well, this wouldn't apply in real life, right? And you could demonstrate that it does, right? You'd be like, no, this is something that absolutely happens in real life, right? Because all you have to do is find a single example of that, right? You just be like, yeah, there's just like, I feel like this is something that's happened, right?
Like 1,000% disagree with you on that, and I can tell you, like, I am someone who came from that background where it was like, and I'll tell you, like, I don't know, like, what decade did you kind of grow?
Okay, so you could speak from anecdotal experience. You could be like, oh, well, it was the case that before I had any sexual feelings, I wanted to be a woman. I wanted to be a girl, right? And then as I got older and hit puberty, I developed certain kinks around cross-dressing or you know, sissification, whatever it may be, right? Like, would you argue that even though it's the case that I've always wanted to be a woman for my entire life, even before I had the capacity to have sexual feelings and urges, that I am transitioning on the sole basis of that kink, right? Like, you could easily make that argument, right?
Grow up in like what era? And I'm not like trying to like dox your age or whatever, but like what decade roughly did you grow up in?
Oh, I'm old as fuck, so.
So are we talking like 2000s, 90s, 80s?
We'll just say that I'm like old as fuck, okay? Like I'm creeping up on that senior discount pretty quick, okay?
Okay, so
Dear Lord.
I'm guessing you were familiar with stuff that happened during, you know, the night, like, and how long have you been transitioning for, roughly?
Well over a decade.
Well over
Wait, he's a trans guy? I didn't know that.
a decade. Okay, so came out in the 2010s. Like, so I don't know if you like, because I can tell you the transfem perspective of like searching for like weird feelings. Because like when you
Yeah, so I think that asking him about his personal experience is a mistake, right? I don't think it's really relevant to the conversation because we are talking about like a very specific transfem experience that you'd be able to speak on, right?
So you probably know, you're familiar with like fucking, like, I know you had this, you know, a weird take on Silence of the Lambs too, thinking that it's not.
Oh, this is a completely different discussion. We're not talking about Silence of the Lambs here, right? Focus on the actual conversation at hand. Don't bring up some other shit, right? You haven't even addressed his existing arguments, right? You want to put him on the back burner. You don't want to like. What this looks like, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing because I don't think you're doing it, but it looks like you're pivoting, right? It looks like you're pivoting away from the point, right? And that looks bad in debate, right? It looks like you're getting off topic. It looks like you're trying to avoid the points that he's making. And that by default makes him look better. Now, he's not doing particularly well either. Neither of you know how to debate, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Somehow not a disparaging thing against trans.
Oh no, we have to put a pin in Silence of the Lambs. We'll end with that because I will Alec Gunter's soy rage about Silence of the Lambs. We'll put a pin in that for the end, okay?
Well, I'm
Yes, I could tell you're ADHD, Rand, yes. I am too, but when it comes to debate, I get super hyper-focused.
not here to fucking defend Alec Gunter. I was just like, his videos just pop up on my feed, and I'm
Okay, get to the point, though.
not here to white knight for Alec Gunter.
Oh no, I mean the Silence of the Lambs thing particularly. I will Alec Gunter soy rage. Like I will scream if we start talking about Silence of the Lambs. So that'll be at the very end. So just put a pin in the Silence of the Lambs.
Okay, sure. I'm just saying, like, I know. Okay, we'll put a pin in it for now.
I would definitely have written stuff down. Like, if you're struggling to follow along with the debate, you gotta write stuff down or something. Or, like, I don't know. Just, like, make some mental note if you can. Right? You have to like, hyper-focus on, like, the specific points that are being made, right? Like, so, for instance, the question that I would have asked, right? Like, okay, well, what if it's the case that like, say, for instance, me, right? I knew that I wanted to be a girl since I was 5. That's, like, something that stuck with me. Indefinitely, right? And it's the case that once I hit puberty, I started, you know, like getting into kink, and some of the stuff was sissification. Would you argue that it's like, that I'm like exclusively transitioning on the basis of kink? In which case, why would I have wanted to be a girl when I was 5 before I had any sexual feelings or urges, right? Like that would have been the line of argumentation I would have gone down in your position, right?
But I am
like, well, like what causes what? Do you think that the kink causes you to want to transition and dysphoria, or do you think that maybe dysphoria and your want to transition, but you suppressing that causes the kink, right? Like, what do you think is the more likely of the two scenarios, right? There's like a really intuitively obvious answer, right?
I am someone who grew up with that shit, and a lot of that stuff is put onto me. So I will tell you my perspective as a closeted trans person growing up in the 90s, bombarded with that shit. You know, you watch a fucking sitcom and like a trans person, air quotes, usually just a man in an obvious man in a dress, like walking around, like, you know, and she's supposed to be like a giant punchline, like, haha, look at this weirdo, sick, perverted freako, and you know,
this is entirely tangential.
You see like real trans people show up on fucking Jerry Springer, and they're supposed to be like sideshow, sideshow freak show shit. Like, haha, look at these fucking weirdos like throwing chairs and freaking out. Like, haha, look at this disgusting man trying to be a woman. And it's just like a cacophony of shit just thrown at you, basically culminating to don't
This doesn't address any of the arguments. I'm gonna be completely honest.
be like this. Don't be these weird, disgusting freaks. And that was a weird thing growing up, in that time frame for me.
This has nothing to do with AGP.
So when you still have these feelings and you feel like you can't talk to anyone about this stuff, because like you definitely can't talk to anyone about this shit.
Okay. You could have just said, okay, well, what if it's the case that you feel the need to repress, and then you repress, and then you have all these pent-up feelings, and then you feel like the only way that you could express it is through kink, right? You could have just said that.
So what do? You go online and search this shit up.
Because I don't think you would disagree with like the notion that people have to repress things sometimes, or feel the need to repress things for their own safety, or because they're not comfortable, right?
And do you know what you're gonna find when you type in things like if you're like searching shit like during the late 90s or early 2000s, like searching things like boy or man turns into girl, or how do I become a girl, or something like that?
Yeah, sure. You're gonna get porn. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, exactly. And like,
that's a good point.
That's really like during that time frame, that's really all you fucking have to go off of. So like, I just don't understand why we have to have this whole thing of like, if this is the shit that like we grew up with, and this is the only thing we have as an outlet to like soothe our fucking brains and like try and like, cope with the fact that we have gender dysphoria and we feel like we can't talk to anyone about this stuff and we have to keep this shit secret. And this is the only outlet that we have. Like, what's the utility in just saying like, oh, you're just transitioning for fetishistic reasons?
I like that. What's the utility? I like that. That's something I would say.
Like, I don't understand that.
Well, for starters, like I ran into the same issue the last time that we talked, is that you're putting a lot of vitriol into my perspective, which I'm not coming from that perspective at all, and I've been very clear that that's not the case at all. I don't think that there's any, real issue with anybody who does transition for fetishistic reasons. I don't think that there's any justification for preventing people from transitioning because they might want to transition due to a fetish or anything like that. I've never come from that perspective, and I never will. My perspective.
So this goes back to the argument that I was making originally against Malcolm's position, right? Is what came first, the fetish or the desire to transition or be the opposite gender, right? Because if it's the case that a lot of these people that have like like these fetishes, or that might be transitioning for fetishistic reasons, like if it's the case that they wanted to transition before they even had the capacity to have sexual urges, then how the fuck would them having that fetish cause them to want to be trans retroactively? That doesn't make any fucking sense, right? It's just like completely illogical.
Perspective solely is that there are individuals who do transition for fetishistic reasons, and there's nothing wrong with pointing out the fact that, yeah, like the reason that you transitioned is because it's like a fetish for you and you think it's hot. Like, okay, whatever. Like, that's not a big deal. And you can obviously zoom out on.
But this is failing to account for cause and effect. This is a really stupid argument from Malcolm.
The macro and say like, oh, this rhetoric itself could be like an issue.
And that's where I have to stop you there, because
I mean, I guess you could make the argument that like yeah, you could make an argument about the rhetoric. I would argue that's like a separate conversation. Right, there's going to be a difference between the validity of AGP versus the validity of the rhetoric itself. Dude, somebody in his chat said, for real, HRT femboys are real and fuck yeah, dude. Dude, I started out as an HRT femboy.
I didn't.
It's because I didn't want to masculinize, so I was like, fuck it. Twink death can't kill me if I go on HRT. I'm so glad I made that decision, because it turns out I was an egg. I actually just. I was just a woman. Okay?
Transition for those reasons at all. Like, oh, I'm gonna transition because I'm hot. Like, no, like, so with me saying that, like, I found porn and I discovered myself through porn, and
I'm gonna be real. Most trans people have too many brainworms to find themselves hot when they transition. I'm gonna be completely honest, okay? Like, I don't know. I
stayed closeted for a very, very long time, using porn as an outlet to kind of like cope with my gender dysphoria. Would you say, just based off of just that information alone, that I transition for fetishistic reasons?
The way that you describe it, no. But if you are coming from the position of somebody who does transition for fetishistic reasons because you think it's hot, because it's something that you're into, because it's some kind of kink, I would say that, yeah, it's fine to kind of denote that's a difference in experience.
Okay, and how do you make that determination, Malcolm?
Right. So, like, what is different about my experience versus like something like Poppy's, way of saying that? Because I would say that like that's something that
good question.
I actually
Do you think you're hot, Femyoz? No, not really.
actually like related to Poppy with, like having her say like, "Oh, I discovered
I wish I was. Sometimes I might feel kind of hot, sort of, but generally I don't feel that
myself
way.
through, through Yuri manga, and I felt like I saw myself in that stuff, and I wished that I could have those type of relationships. I wish that I couldn't. I don't want to be a man in these relationships. Like it's like that felt like I felt like that's relatable.
I think that there's a difference
So
in
how is my
there's a difference in experience when you're talking about like seeing something that's relatable versus like building your entire identity around like a sexual function or like a sexual fetish. So like for example, if you watch
Yeah, but like that's not exclusive to trans people.
like lesbian porn and you're somebody who inside feels like a girl and you're like, wow, it really sucks that as a man, if I'm in a relationship with a woman, like it doesn't feel like I'm having this like lesbian connection. Like that could be a source of dysphoria. If you watch lesbian porn and you sit down and you watch it and you're like, oh my god, this is so fucking hot, this is so fucking sexy, oh my god, I wish so badly that I was in here right now like scissoring this bitch because it's so fucking hot, it's the only thing that can ever perforate my brain is like.
I mean, yeah, if you're horny and you're a lesbian, you might think that. These aren't mutually exclusive. You don't have to feel dysphoria actively in order to be trans. This is fucking stupid, right? Like you might think it's hot because it's like, fuck, this is what I want. This is what I need. I wish that was me. I wish I was the other woman because well, if you're trans, if you're a trans woman, you want to be in that role, right? If you're like a transbian, I don't know.
It's like how fucking horny.
Now, I personally avoided doing such activities, okay? Because I thought that it would have made me a freak. I didn't want to be one of those freaks that would just, like, watch lesbian porn. I was just like, I don't know. I feel like guys that do that are, like, fetishizing lesbians, and that's, like, weird. So instead, I would just, like, either A, look up femdom stuff, and just like watch it regardless of gender, or I'm oversharing entirely. Or B, I would just like imagine myself as the girl if it's like with a guy. If I'm gonna be I would just imagine myself as whoever is less dominant. To be honest, I'm gonna be completely honest. It didn't even matter the gender.
This makes me, there's obviously a very difference in experience of that where it's not necessarily motivated by transition or dysphoria or anything like that. It's motivated purely to satiate like a sexual desire. And I would say those two things are tacitly different.
Yeah, but they're not mutually exclusive, right? It could be the case that you're satisfying a sexual desire while also eliminating dysphoria. Like, why does it have to be one or the other? Like, what if it's both?
Right. I get that, but I'm again like I was a Poppy and Xena fan for a while before like I had my falling out with them, and I watched their stuff, and I did not get the way that you described this like weird soul like if someone did say those exact words, like yeah, I would probably say that like they do sound like they're doing it just solely for fetishistic reasons, but like I've heard other stories about Poppy saying that like she would like dress up in girls' clothes in private and like make out with boys while wearing skirts and stuff like that, and it's like
a true HSTS gigapassoid.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like just kink and sex stuff.
Well, when you say that you're wanting to get bottom surgery because you don't want to get a boner at Walmart because your partner might send you a picture of their tits, or when you say things like
Wait, how is that AGP? Like what? Wait, hold on. You do realize that getting a boner could cause somebody dysphoria. Also, yeah, generally, if you have a partner and they send you nudes, yeah, you're probably gonna get turned on by that. Unless you're asexual. That's, like, normal. What? Like, what? Do you think that lesbians don't like titty pics? Do you think that we're all just, like, super fucking pretty? No, don't send me the titty pics. I will be so angry if you do. Guys, don't send me titty pics. What the fuck? Stop it. I might like it too much. No! Like, goddamn. Come on. This is such a stupid point from Malcom.
Extent of like, oh, well, what was the other fucking thing that she said? It was the boner thing, and then it was like, oh, I came to this realization that
Hold on, wait, that's her saying she doesn't want to get boners because they would most likely cause dysphoria. That's, like, perfectly reasonable. Like, if they're getting bottom surgery so that they don't get a boner, when they look at something like, I don't know, their partner's tits, something that would turn on any lesbian in a lesbian relationship, I'm sorry, that's just how it works. Unless you're asexual, like, I'm sorry. If you are physically attracted to feminine sexual characteristics, and your partner sends you titty pics, yeah, you're probably gonna be turned on by that. That's like normal. That's like normal and healthy. That's fine. That's not AGP. How is that AGP? Like, this is such a stupid point.
I like wanted to be a lesbian because I was reading like Yuri manga and it was like so fucking hot. It wasn't Yuri, I don't remember what it was. Yuri's the boy one, right?
I don't know what the fuck that is. I'm sorry, I'm not enough of a weep for that.
I don't know what the difference is between all these things. But,
Yuri's the lesbian one.
whatever one. What's the boy one?
Wait, hold on. Would it be AGP if a cis woman read lesbian manga? I'm sorry, what? So, like, if a cis woman reads lesbian manga, then it's fine. But if a trans woman does it, then it's AGP? Why? Make it make sense. Manga. Ah! No, I clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that is true, but like 99 times out of 100, if they're saying like, you know, so, like, there's a reason why people use the term autogynephilia, and there isn't like and sex stuff that just. That
well, when you say that you're wanting to get bottom surgery because you don't want to like, it was the boner thing, and then it was like, oh, I came to this realization that I like wanted to be a lesbian because I was reading like Yuri manga and it was like so fucking hot. It wasn't Yuri, I don't remember what it was. Yuri's the boy one, right? I don't know.
Whoa, do you mean to tell me that a woman that's a lesbian likes lesbian porn? Holy shit, they must be AGP. Yeah, dude, it's AGP if a trans woman likes it. If a cis woman likes it, that's totally normal. Like, I don't think he realizes he is using the same logically fallacious argument here as Blanchard. Even though he disagrees with Blanchard's methodology, he's literally making the same exact argument. Like, he wouldn't apply the same standard to a cis woman. That would be fucking crazy. Because then any cis woman that's a lesbian that likes lesbian porn would be considered AGP by this standard. This is such a stupid argument. Yeah, I'm pretty AGP for my girlfriend. Yeah, exactly.
Know what the difference is between all these.
Like, that's just called finding women hot. That's not AGP. That's just, I'm a lesbian and I think that women are hot. That's like normal. That's like really normal. That doesn't mean you're attracted to yourself. Like, I'm sorry, but if you find lesbian porn hot, that doesn't automatically make you attracted to yourself if you're a trans person. That's so fucking stupid.
These things,
Yuri's the lesbian one.
Whatever one. What's the boy?
Is AGP when you enjoy lesbian porn, but only if you're trans? This is so stupid. Like, what is this definition?
Boy one.
This is Lily. This would have been so easy to attack. This would have been so easy to attack. Holy shit! You gotta get me to debate Malcom because holy fuck-a-moly, I'm not gonna lie. He'd get blown the fuck out. I'm gonna be completely honest. All right, dude. Maybe I should go back into debate. Okay, maybe I should get back into it. And if I do, you better believe I will be fucking destroying him in the free marketplace of ideas, of course.
Yowie.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Dude, all my homies hate yaoi.
Sorry, I got totally still knocked on that. Whatever it was, like when you continually reiterate that like your entire existence is basically rooted in sexuality, being sexually.
Then that means you're horny. This doesn't apply exclusively to trans women. Like, this is like, would you say that if cis woman is hypersexual and makes sex their entire personality that they're AGP? Of course not. That's such a stupid argument. You might argue that I think that you're too horny, you care too much about sex, and that's a perfectly fine point to make. That doesn't mean you're a fucking autogynephile. That doesn't automatically mean that you're sexually attracted to yourself. That's fucking stupid. Like, how does that logically follow? Like, by what standard does that logically follow? But also specifically only for trans women and nobody else. That's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
Actually appealing to others, being perceived in a very sexual way, specifically in the context of somebody whose dysphoria roots from, and I say dysphoria loosely with air quotes, around like a sexual prowess. I think that indicates that you're doing it for a sexual reason. And I don't think that Poppy would deny that she's doing it for sexual reasons. And I've said before, I don't always boil all this shit down.
Doing it for sexual reasons, like, generally people are more sexually satisfied when, like, they don't have dysphoria. Like, that's just, like, intuitively obvious. Also, thank you, Patel Crafter, for the 10, saying we need to debate you. Chat, should I unretire from debate? I mean, I'm gonna debate Domino this Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday. Over whether or not, over the ethics of femboy YouTubers existing, okay? But that's kind of a fucking meme. That's not like a serious debate. At least I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be serious. I think he's just there to shitpost and troll. If I were to be completely honest. But it's still gonna be fun. If I were to debate Malcom, it'd be like a more serious debate. Like, I'd take it a little bit more seriously. Anyways. But yeah, maybe I should go back to, debating. Yeah, exactly. You would use the same standard for cis women. This is, like, such an easy point to argue against.
Down to Poppy, this is just kind of the easiest example to point to.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, like, what would be, okay. So, this is why I don't.
That'd probably be a troll debate, yeah. I'm not gonna spoil too much, okay? I'm not gonna spoil too much, but I do think it's gonna go a certain way. That's all I'm gonna say.
Don't like, you know, having like people having these opinions on like specific, and a lot of this stuff is really like hammered towards trans femmes too. Like it seems like a lot of people like to point this shit, like especially.
No. You gotta explain. Why would it be categorically different if a cis woman were to engage in all of these same behaviors? Like, why is it different? It just sounds like somebody that is a woman that's enjoying lesbian porn. Why does it matter if they're trans? Why does them being trans make it categorically any different? Like, that's what I need to know. Like, that would be the number one question that I would press him on. Because he clearly has, like, some sort of inherent bias here, right? And it's really, really easy to point out. It's, like, super fucking tangible. Like, I could just fucking grab it. I could fucking grab it, right?
Especially, like, older trans femmes who are also lesbians.
I mean, I can do the same thing for the yaoi dream fantasy that a lot of trans guys have. It's, like, the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it is...
The yaoi dream
fantasy. I will say that is true, but, like... 99 times out of 100 if they're saying like, you know, so, like there's a reason.
I'm super proud of this, no worries. You're not a debater, I get it. Dude. If Malcolm is willing to debate somebody like you, then he better be willing to debate somebody like me, because I actually know how to debate. Or fucking heaven forbid, somebody like Bunk. Dude, imagine if you were to debate Bunk. Dude, he'd get fucked, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Bunk is like me on steroids. With that being said, thank you MTY5 for the 10, saying, I'm back again. Work sucks, but it pays good. Take my money, you beautiful woman, you. Do the thing and put these people in their place. Do what thing? Do you need to specify? Do what thing? There's a lot of things I could do. I could eat cardboard. I could piss on camera. There's a lot of things I could do, you know? Say skibbity. Well, I just did by reading that out loud. Yeah, I'm super bad at this. Say it. Okay, fine. I'm a subby, bratty bottom with a tiny dong. There, you made me say the thing. Fuck you. Or no. What I should have said is Min nickname is Big Teddy Bear. Dude. That would have been perfect. That would have been a perfect opportunity. And piss like I'm not pissing on camera. That's TOS. And then let me know if you want anything else. I'm not pissing. No, we're just gonna continue the segment instead of that.
And why people use the term autogynephilia, and there isn't like auto.
Oh, there is. Autoandrophilia is a big talking point in the transmasculine community. That's a big talking point in the transmasculine community. But
yeah, it's just this bullshit. It'd be like, oh yeah, dude, you're an autoandrophile for watching gay sex. Anyways, Spinny. All right. You guys want a fit check? Okay. All right. I see how it is. I look fat today, but that's okay. I'll just pretend like I'm not like insecure for just, you know, a second, you know. Here's my fit. You know, it's a classic. You got the stripy okay, we've got the AGP socks, okay? You got what am I saying? Dude. Fuck yeah, bro. The AGP warmers? Dude, let's go. Yeah! Oh, fuck. You look pretty? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So pretty. You guys are so sweet. You guys are so sweet. Anyways, let's continue.
I'll ask really quickly, if you can say, like, with your whole chest, that, like, oh yeah, that's certainly a thing with trans men, why can't you say that's a thing in turn with trans women?
Wait, say that again?
You said, like, oh, that's certainly a thing in the context of trans men who, like, yowify themselves because they watch too much, like, fucking gay yaoi porn or whatever the fuck. You say that's, like, a thing, and you can acknowledge that that is a thing, that people will do that for that reason. If they're trans men, why can't you say the same thing for trans men? Why is that different?
Why is it... It's, I mean,
yeah, but what if, like, what if a gay cis man does the same thing? Like, why is that fundamentally different?
The reason why it's different is because it's just very heavily overrepresented. Like, when you hear TERFs talk about fetishizing things, like, it's always trans femmes that they're talking about.
Sure, but the overrepresentation doesn't mean that it's not happening, right? Just because I say, like, you know, there's more people that are doing X.
Malcolm is right on this one specific point, right? He's trying to talk about, like, what he perceives to be the reality of the matter, right? Like, rather than, like, what's, like, stigmatized. You have to attack the argument itself, not what people generally say, right? Because then you're not really addressing his points. You're just saying, oh, well, generally these are the talking points people use, right? Whereas, like, he could easily say, oh, well, yeah, of course this applies just as much to trans masks, right? Because he's not arguing from a TERF perspective, right?
I never
that
said
doesn't.
it's not happening. Though.
Okay,
I
well,
never
you
said it's not
no,
happening.
well, you say that like the overrepresentation is the reason why you're really quick to levy that criticism against trans men, but not against trans women. It doesn't. The question isn't whether or not it's overrepresented. The question is if it's something that's happening at all, and if it's fair to identify that as something that is.
Mm-hmm. So you're asking like.
Can trans men have AGP? No. They'd have to have AAP, autoandrophilia, instead of autogynephilia.
I never said it's not happening to trans men though. Like
No, that's what I'm saying is that you said, like, yes, this is something that does happen with trans men. Like, when I brought up the example of the Yowie Dream Boy or whatever in the trans masculine community, you were like, oh, yeah, that certainly happens. But if I look and I say, like, oh, there are people in the...
Okay, but the main question I would ask is, can autogynephilia exist within cis women? And if not, what is the underlying distinction? Like, why do you make that distinction?
Trans feminine community who will, overindulge in pornography and lesbian pornography, and I say that, like, this is a phenomenon that happens, that isn't worth...
You're worried about... So, like, hold on. So AGP is when you watch porn? What? So, like, if a cis dude watches porn, like, is he, like, an autoandrophile? If a cis woman watches porn, she's an autogynephile? Like, this is such a stupid way of categorizing people. This is just not useful, right? Like, even if it's the case that, like, yeah, some of these people are technically attracted themselves, right? Like, you would either, A, have to, like, apply this to cis women as well, in which case, why is this even a useful distinction? Like, what knowledge do you get out of it? Oh, okay. AGP is basically a gender-specific type of gooner? Is that what we're talking about? Like, it's like a gay, gender-specific gooner? What does he mean by overindulge? That's another question I would ask him, but that's not as important.
Worth pointing out or acknowledging, but it is worth pointing out and acknowledging with trans men. Do you see that? Where does that connect for you?
Well, it's not worth pointing out or acknowledging for either. It's kind of a nothing argument. Why don't you, if it's so important, then why wouldn't you point it out with cis or cis men? It doesn't really make any sense. Why is it more damning or important if a trans person does it? That's fucking stupid. You're just applying an inconsistent standard. Like, what are you using to determine that this is like a worthwhile endeavor to talk about? Like, why? Why does it matter when a trans person does it, but not a cis person? This is fucking stupid. Right? It's entirely relativistic and arbitrarily defined. Like, you're just arbitrarily categorizing people on the basis of nothing. Right? This doesn't maximize utility. It doesn't make it easier to say anything. It's just like, oh, okay, like, you're just saying a whole lot of nothing.
It connects for me because, like, it seems like while it does exist, it seems it's very like the autogynephile transfem is like almost seen as like a boogeyman, like very like capital M man.
No. Don't. All he has to do is say, okay, well, I'm not applying any moral weight. Okay, I guarantee you that's what he's about to say. Well, I'm not saying that it's bad to be an autogynephile. I'm just saying it exists, right? That's the argument he's gonna make, right? The line of argumentation you should go down is, okay, why don't you refer to cis women as autogynephiles? Why do you believe it is, or better yet, do you believe it is possible for a cis woman to be an autogynephile? If not, why? And if it's the case that they are able to be autogynephiles, okay, well, why don't you talk about them? Why do you only talk about transgender autogynephiles? What is the fundamental distinction there? Why not focus on cis women that are autogynephiles? Why is that not important to talk about? But it is with trans women.
Man, with that too, like it's just
now. If he were to say, "Oh, well, because when trans women do it, it makes the trans community look bad, and appeals to optics," then you could make this argument. Okay, well, it's not trans women that are making themselves look bad. It seems to be the case that it's TERFs that are using that to make these people into boogeymen, when in reality they're not doing anything that causes any objective or measurable harm, right?
just
Hello, Avery. Good to see you.
we're seen as disgusting, freaky porno monsters that are going to barge into women's spaces and grape all the women inside. Like that.
Do you think that's how I'm describing it?
Yeah. See, all he has to do is say, "Okay, well, that's not what I said," right? And he's not even wrong. That's not really what he said, right? He's not even like when he's saying it. Like he can easily just say, "Well, I'm not like applying any moral weight. I'm not like coming to any other conclusions other than this is something that exists," right? If all he's saying is it exists, right? Then you can't assign moral weight to it unless he makes it obvious, or unless he says something that implies moral weight, right? So you would have to then find a specific quote or example of him applying moral weight to it, right? This is why I wouldn't go down this line of argumentation.
Huh?
Do you think that's how I'm describing it?
I'm not saying that's how you're describing me.
See, this makes you this puts you on the defense. Now you have to defend that wrong position, right? That's how he's describing it, or you have to concede, right? That makes him look like he's winning, right? I mean, he is. I would argue that he's probably winning this. Actually, I'm not sure. I think I'd be more critical of you because I know how I would argue your perspective, and I know that when I debate, I like some of my in a lot of my best debates, I feel like I'm doing worse, like a lot worse than I actually am. Like some of my best debates, I felt like were some of my worst debates while I was doing them. Right? But I was hyper fixated on it. All right, I was hyper fixated on making the best points I could, so it turned out to be a really good debate. When I watched it back, I'm like, holy shit, I was on fucking fire. And I didn't even realize it, right? But I sounded confident anyway, right? But yeah.
But like, I think being so like flippant about some of the stuff and like trying to like, you know, cede any ground to fucking autogynephilia and just saying like, you know, oh, it's
not about ceding ground, right? Like talk about the actual concept itself. Why didn't you apply this to cis women? It's like really easy, right? The easiest thing you can do is just point out internal inconsistencies. Well, why is this important? Why is this relevant? Why didn't you apply this to other people that would be categorized the same way, right? If you acknowledge it's the case that Blanchard failed to account for cis women as a control group, like if he didn't use a control group, how is the way you're categorizing it any different? What are you doing differently from Blanchard? You agree that Blanchard is wrong. How is your argument different? I only did this a handful of times before. Yeah, no worries. And if you want, I could teach you debate, right? Or I could do like mock debates or something like that. And but yeah, me and like people that are better than me at debate could easily do that. Like if you want to get better at debate, like I could help you with that. I have friends who are really good at debate that have been doing this for like way longer than me. Like they're infinitely better than me, right? Like they could easily like people that could easily fucking bitch me around in a debate, right? Just because I don't do it as much.
It's different for it's different. Like when they were talking about the study asking cis women about like the same questions, whether or not if it's, you know, whether or not if they're autogynephiles, they come back as technically having autogynephilia, whatever the fuck that means. You know, you were sitting there saying like, you know, you know, it's different because like it's males asking these questions, answering these questions. It's different somehow. Like,
well, yeah, it would be
it's different.
because. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's what I was just gonna say. Like that was like that was my big thing.
Okay, you finally made the point. Soppily, but you did it. Okay, in terms of the actual substance, you got there.
It was kind of wild hearing you say something like that. So I'd like to know, like, effectively, like, why is that different? Like, why is it bad when trans women, you know, look in the mirror and they...
Hold on, don't say bad, because now all he's going to do is harp on the fact that you're assigning moral weight to it when he supposedly never did, right? So now he's gonna be like, oh, well, I didn't say it was bad. I didn't assign any moral weight to it, right? I just said it was a thing that exists, right? So now he's gonna harp on that. That's gonna be the easiest debate strategy.
They were just like, damn, I look hot, I look good.
Well, I've never said that it's bad, for starters. I've never said that.
See? Told you. I promise you I did not pre-watch this. I just know how people debate. I know how debate works.
Second of all, even within Blanchard's original typology, he never said that like AGPs aren't like trans women, just that it's a different category of trans women. And again, I don't buy wholesale into Blanchard's theory of autogynephilia in the way that most people do. But I think that there are people that will transition for fetishistic reasons. And I think that's kind of what that seeks to describe as like a theory, right? Of like why some people will transition. But even under Blanchardian typology, like AGPs are still transitioning. AGPs are still considered trans. They're just a different category of trans, the same way autoandrophiles are just a different category of trans.
And why is this categorization useful? Why is it relevant? Well, like, what difference does it make?
Right. So.
And you could easily get into a discussion about like, okay, what is the context in which this matters, right? Well, why does it fucking matter, right? Why wouldn't you apply this to a cis woman that has AGP, right? Right. And it's also going to be the case that it's difficult to retain like a sexual attraction to yourself, right? If you're like on hormones and shit, right? Because if you're wearing like if you're cross dressing, let's say, right, and that's your fetish, that's going to be novel, right? Because you're generally not going to be cross dressing most of the time, right? But if you're wearing women's clothing every day, and that's just like you, and you go to the fucking grocery store in women's clothing, and you present as a woman in society. There's like nothing fetishistic about this. This is actually something that ContraPoints has talked about, right? Is the fact that before she transitioned, before she understood her gender identity, that would have been a fetish for her, right? That it was at one point, right? But then it's like, once she started presenting as a woman in society, it just like went away, and she didn't detransition. She still wants to be a woman. So is she exclusively transitioning for those fetishistic reasons? No. And I would argue that would apply to most people that he would categorize as AGP. All you are doing is looking at maybe the initial concept or the initial idea that ended up pushing them to the point of transition. But generally, if somebody does it for fetishistic reasons, that's not the only reason they're doing it. That's just a reason that pushed them over the edge. Usually, that's not the exclusive reason. Do you think that somebody is going to take HRT and get bottom surgery for the sole purpose of engaging in a fetish? Of course not. There's going to be other underlying issues there. It's not going to be on the sole basis of whether or not they're sexually attracted to it. It's going to be the case that their sex drive is going to decrease, that they're not going to get off to it, even if it's something that they initially did, simply because they're not going to have the sex drive for it. I don't have the same sex drive that I used to, and chances are, if you get bottom surgery, you're risking having no sex drive, no sensation. That's a legitimate possibility if you get bottom surgery. Why would anybody get bottom surgery if it's just for a fetish? It doesn't make any sense. It's entirely counterintuitive to what you would do for a fetish. If you were to indulge in a fetish, it'd be a lot easier to just, I don't know, fantasize about it or cross-dress. But to medically transition because you think it's hot? Well, I don't really see that as particularly viable or logical. That would be a very rare thing to be able to retain a sexual attraction to. It's just like it's just not viable. Like if you're presenting as a woman every single day, it's not novel anymore. There's nothing fetishistic about it. It's like when people are into cross-dressing, for instance, one of the reasons that they might be into it is because they view it as shameful, right? But if you're just like a woman, like you're just like a woman now, it stops being shameful, right? Like you live life as a woman. It's not shameful to you anymore. There's like nothing to get off to. That's just, oh, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm going to wear clothes. I'm a woman, so I will wear women's clothes, I guess.
So what did you mean by that when you were trying to when you took issue with what Alex was basically saying, that like technically cis women by Blanchard's typology would also have autogynephilia? Like, wait, like what? So what? Where's the contention there?
This is one of the first points I would have made. Took you a while to get to it, but I'm glad you did.
Because it would be different. So like you have to take into perspective like the way that people are socialized, 1, 2, their natural state of being, and then 3, the way that people like perceive themselves like in that state.
Okay, so what is the fundamental distinction? So first off, the way that they're socialized. Why is this relevant? Could you be more specific? Right, because he listed off a bunch of different points. Okay, so we'll play.
Would also have autogynephilia. Like, wait, like
we'll play it at one time speed.
So what? Where's the contention there? I'm
because it would be different. So like you have to take into perspective like the way that people are socialized, 1, 2, their natural state of being, and
okay, their natural state of being. What is their natural state of being? What does that mean? Their natural state of being? So because it's different from when they were assigned at birth, it's different to. It doesn't make any fucking sense. There's no distinction there. What are you talking about? Because they were socialized differently? Like what? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, okay, that might be a cause for it to be more common in trans women, if it is, right? I think it's like it's more likely to be the case that a trans woman will fetishize it or whatever because they have pent up repressed feelings, and that was the only way they were able to express themselves for a period of time, right? Like that's entirely possible. But that's also temporary, right?
And then 3, the way that people like perceive themselves like in that state. So for example, if you
the way people perceive themselves. Hold on, the perception would be the same. What are we using to determine people's self-perception? Like what are we talking about here? Like what is the self-perception?
Have a woman, like we'll say a cis woman, who was raised female, socialized female, blah 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 blah. You have this person that grows up. It is the natural state of being for that person to like find themselves sexually attractive as a woman, see themselves.
Wait. What? So hold on. The difference is whether or not you naturally find yourself as attracted as a woman. What are you saying? What? What is he talking? I don't even know how I would argue against this. This is such a stupid point. What?
Person to like find themselves sexually attractive as a woman, see themselves or envisioning themselves having sex as a woman, being perceived as a woman, moving through the world as a woman. All of those things are going to correlate directly with like their natural state of being. So that is
their natural state of being. So like if it's something that occurs naturally based on how they were socially raised, and all of those same characteristics apply to them, it's not AGP because they're naturally like that. But with trans women, they're artificially like that, even though all of those same exact things happen by default, except for, I don't know, they were socialized differently against their will and also born in a body incongruent with their gender. Like, what? This is such a bad argument. Well, why is this a useful categorization?
Is what is expected. It would be abnormal, or it would be, you know, skewed from the norm, not in like a bad way. We're saying this isn't normal, but in a way where like there is this baseline where it's like if you are raised a certain way, your gender identity and your assigned sex correlate with each other heavily. It's normal for you.
So it's only AGP. So because it's normal for cis women, it's not AGP, but because it's weird for trans women, what is his argument? What does he say? This is the I'm actually fucking baffled. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, this is brain dead. This is one of the most brain dead takes I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard some really dumb takes. This is really stupid. This is dumber than I thought his argument was going to be. So it's different because cis women are naturally sexually attracted to themselves, but trans women aren't? What are you talking about? This is so stupid. What? If we're talking about sexual attraction, that is a natural predisposition, regardless of what you're assigned at birth or how you're raised. Like, what are we talking about here?
For you to see yourself that way and feel good about yourself because you are congruent in your identity and your assigned sex.
Why would that be categorically any different for trans women? Because you're incongruent in your identity, right? So it would be the case if a trans woman achieves that same level of congruence. Why is that categorically different? This is such a bad argument. Just doesn't make any sense. This is just illogical.
In trans people, it's different because you're seeing a reflexive incongruence in the way that you are socialized, the way that you're raised, the way that you identify, the way that you perceive yourself, where it's normal for men.
Hold on, you're not okay, but it's gonna be the case that, according to AGP theory, I guess, you wouldn't be sexually attracted to the incongruence. You would be attracted to that same congruence. There's no distinction there. It's the same congruence that you'd be attracted to. You're not attracted to the incongruence. You're attracted to that same congruence despite the incongruence. There's no distinction. You haven't made a distinction. You're just saying, well, the difference is that when it's trans people, they have gender incongruence. Well, yes, no shit. We do have gender incongruence. You are correct about that. I don't know what that has to do with the fucking point, though.
To be like, I'm a man, I fuck with my dick, that feels good, I look sexy as a man, I like that. It's abnormal, or it's away from baseline for a female to say like, I think that I look sexy when I look like a man. I think that I want a dick to fuck with. These things are abnormal. And again.
So if it's like statistically less likely, it's AGP. Like, why is that a useful distinction? It's abnormal to be trans. So it's like being trans AGP. Like, what are we talking about? Like, if it's normal for a guy to find himself attractive as a guy, why is that? Like, why would we need to make this, like, distinction for trans men? We don't make it for cis men. But, like, what's the fucking point? Like, what? If it's a normal thing for a cis guy, then why would we make that distinction for a trans guy? Or, like, should we hold them to a higher standard? What are you talking about?
In the sense where it's not like, oh my god, that's not normal, like, put them in the stocks. In the sense where it breaks or it deviates from baseline or, like, the natural state of being. So
the natural state of being? So your state so hold on, let me get this straight. Your standard is whether or not it's natural? So AGP is like an unnatural attraction to yourself? Is that what you're saying? Because I would argue that it's like a natural thing, right? Like you're attracted to a congruence with your gender, which would apply to cis people. But in order to achieve that congruence, you would have to transition. Like, what do you... But then you would have to acknowledge that there's already an existing incongruence, in which case they wouldn't be exclusively transitioning on the basis of fetishistic reasons.
So if you take a man and you take a trans man, these two people are going to have different fundamental processes and different justifications and reasonings for why they perceive themselves a certain way in sexual situations. And one you could say is the way that it's measured. You could say like, oh, this is quote unquote autoandrophilia because the way that this person aligns is not congruent with their natural state of being. That's like the entire.
Why is that relevant though? Why is this a useful categorization?
Argument.
So, okay, but what I'm trying to ask, I guess, is like, when you make that thing, it's like, oh, there's a difference between those two. Do you think that like secretly like trans women do kind of have an autogynephilia-esque like view of themselves? Like, it's like
if you define.
I would have asked the questions that I just asked, to be honest. It would have been a lot better. I'm gonna be real.
Trying to see what.
If you define autogynephilia that way, then I would say yeah, but it's going to depend on how you define it. Because normally when people define autogynephilia, they define it as like the state of being like sexually aroused at the thought of being a woman. But it would make sense that if somebody.
Okay, well, by that standard, then it would apply to cis women. So you would have to add a parameter that, oh, but only if you're trans, which is fucking stupid. That's like a useless parameter. It's not relevant. That doesn't make any sense. It's not a useful distinction.
Is dysphoric and they perceive themselves or they want to be perceived as a woman, that they would find like satisfaction both like, you know, emotionally, socially, and sexually as being perceived as a woman. I don't think that's abnormal. The abnormal part of that would be like if you have somebody that does it for like a fetishistic reason, which is what the AGP typology is supposed to describe, but that's why it isn't very effective in describing like this like group of trans people that you would say do it for primarily fetishistic reasons, but you would.
Okay, why is it different? Like what is the fundamental distinction between a trans woman fetishizing herself versus a cis woman, right? Like a cis woman can fetishize her own feminine body as well. Like that's like something that happens all the time. Like this isn't abnormal at all. But it's like, I guess bad, not bad, but different if a trans person does it according to his standard. Like this is stupid. His views are based on hatred? No, not necessarily. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's hateful. I just think he's really dumb. At least on this one specific issue. This is a really bad argument. He's just fucking dumb.
Would say that like it would make sense to me that like if somebody is raised or is assigned male at birth and they're like, I want to be perceived as a woman, I'm dysphoric, blah blah blah, whatever, that it would make sense that they would feel good or like attractive or even like sexually attractive when they're perceived as a woman because that like fits or it satiates that dysphoria.
Yep, that would be me.
So it depends truly on how you would define it.
Is that AGP? Because I feel like that would apply to a cis woman. Like, I feel like if a cis woman were to, like, I don't know, have an intersex condition where, like, she starts growing up the fucking beard and her face masculinizes, she would probably, like, she would have some sort of longing, sexual or not, to look more feminine. That's what it's like to be a trans woman. It's like...
autogynephilia, and then, like, what you would perceive as, like, you know, transitioning for a fetishistic reason. It would just wholly depend on how you would define it.
So whether or not they fit into the category of AGP depends on how you define it, but this isn't a useful distinction then. This is useless. So whether or not somebody is AGP depends on how you define it personally. Well, then I guess everybody is AGP or nobody is AGP. If it's entirely relativistic to a meaningless distinction that doesn't actually denote anything. Aside from the arbitrarily defined parameters set by the person invoking the term. Like, what if I were to be like, you know, I think that AGP describes anybody with, that wears glasses. Okay, well now, Goddamnit Malcom is AGP because he's wearing glasses. But Poppy and Xena don't wear glasses, so they're not AGP. So it's fucking stupid. Actually, they might wear glasses. I don't know. I forgot what they look like. Do they wear glasses? I don't know. Anyways, let's get to Brianna Wu would be AGP. Actually, I think she is.
Whenever I see
not because I think it's a useful distinction to make, but because I think it's funny, right? And generally it's like a pleasurable experience to laugh. And so we believe things on the basis of whether or not they're useful, right? And utility can be derived from positive emotions such as laughing, right? So as a result of that, so that's like sort of how we define truth, is based on like its usefulness, right? So the logical conclusion to those premises, of course, is that Brianna Wu being AGP is true on the basis of its comedic value, of course, right? Because like that's sort of like the proposition that serves the most value, right?
Pedophilia being pushed.
Sorry, not proposition. Conclusion.
It usually just means it's a paraphilia. It's delusional men trying to be women, and they get some sort of...
Oh, what's funny is somebody in his chat also said, didn't ContraPoints talk about AGP and how almost everyone is sort of turned on by themselves when they're in sexual context? Yeah, which is true, by the way. That's just objectively correct.
Sexual thrill from it. That's how...
It's like, yeah, there's going to be different levels of it, right? And you might, I don't know, notice the more extreme versions of that, of course, obviously. Like, no shit, that's going to stand out a lot more. But at the same time, it's like... I don't know. Yeah, dude. Oh, shit. Chud Logic would also be AGP by this standard. Let's go. I knew it. It was very obvious to me. But yeah, no. Yeah, anyways, let's continue.
Oh, it seems to be pushed by a lot of people. It seems to, like, that's the thing that seems to be pushed, you know, by a lot of, like, self-loathing transmedicalist types. That seems to be how it's pushed by TERFs, by the conservative right. That just seems like what they kind of latch onto that, and like and honestly, like Blanchard's typology, it seems like that's what it's trying to be seen as. It's a paraphilia. It's like you get a boner, you get horny feel when you dress up as woman.
And like I said, if that's how you define it, then like sure you can categorize those people as autogynephiles. But I think generally like the typology aims to describe.
Okay, well, but like why is the typology useful in the first place? Why is it useful? Like, what, like, I'm so confused. Like, why is it a useful distinction to make in the first place? Like, why does the extent to which somebody finds themselves sexually attractive matter? It's not specific to being trans or cis. Like, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. We don't categorize cis people this way because it's not relevant. Why should we categorize trans people this way? The only reason that people do it is not because it's relevant, but it's just easier to write trans people off as exclusively doing it for a fetish. And then they can invoke the logical conclusion to they're exclusively doing it for a fetish to they're fetishizing the children, right? As an argument against trans kids having access to necessary medical care, right? Like that's the only use case of it, right? Is for bigotry, right? That's like the only instance in which it is invoked as a standard, right?
Describe people
Well,
that do it for
wait,
like a
what?
sexual reason, right?
No, wait. You're saying that like you're saying the people that I just described there, like
Hold on. What I would ask Malcolm is if it's the case that somebody that supposedly does it for a sexual reason, were to be asexual or lose their sex drive entirely, do you think that they would not transition or stop transitioning? Because I would actually be really curious to know what his answer is.
If that's like how you describe it, then sure. Because generally speaking, like autogynephilia just denotes people, or it's supposed to denote people that do it for fetishistic reasons, but it's kind of broadened over time colloquially to just mean anybody who thinks that they like look good as a woman. But I don't think that is like true to the definition. So it just depends on like how you define.
Which definition? Wait. It's not true to the definition, but it depends on how you define it. Well, these are mutually exclusive arguments. Either it's like an entirely subjective relativistic definition, or there is one clear-cut definition. Which one is it? You can't do both. Either it's the case that the meaning of the word has changed over time or it hasn't.
Define it. Obviously, that sounds like a bitch weasel answer, but like everybody kind of uses it
Yeah, because it kind of is. It kind of is a bitch weasel answer, if I want to be completely honest.
differently. So if you use it to mean like, oh,
so it's a
I
bitch
look.
So if you're the only person that's using a word in a very specific way and nobody else is using it that way, like why is it a useful word to use in the first place? Like what? Like why can't you just say, oh, somebody that exclusively transitioned on the basis of it being a fetish, right? Because AGP doesn't actually denote that. Like when people say AGP, that's not what they're necessarily referring to. Now they might conflate those two things. That's something that people do quite frequently, actually. But yeah, no.
Like if you say like I look hot as a woman and I like that makes me feel good or that makes me feel sexy, somebody might say that's autogynephilia. Somebody who's like more true to like the text definition of it, where it's like somebody who does it for fetishes.
Wait, the text definition. So it's like, okay, your definition that nobody else uses and that's not written in any text should supersede all of the other definitions because why? Maybe you think it serves more utility. Why not just use a different word or phrase to describe it then at that point in order to better communicate the same information that you're trying to? Why do you need to use the term AGP? It doesn't seem to be the case that it serves any more utility because it just comes across as you, I don't know, writing off a trans woman as only transitioning on the basis of them finding themselves sexually attractive when that's not necessarily the case, right?
Reasons.
Like occasionally I might look in the mirror and if my brainworms go away for the day, I might be like, damn, I'm hot as fuck. God damn. But that's when the brainworms go away though. So yeah, no. But I wouldn't argue that that's like the reason I'm transitioning. Is so that occasionally I can be like, oh damn, I look good today. You know, I don't know.
It just depends on how you're using it, or like what you think it means.
So if my boyfriend says I'm attractive and it makes me happy, that means I'm AGP. Yeah, well that's why AGP is a fucking useless standard. If somebody's like, I don't know, if somebody finds themselves like hot, sexy, or attractive, then like in like a sort of like a more female type of body, right? Then that would be categorized as AGP, right? But people only invoke it as a standard for trans women because it's entirely arbitrary and relative to whether or not somebody feels like using it as a standard, depending on how convenient it is for their argument. But AGP is ultimately meaningless for the most part.
Right, and like I don't know. I have spent a lot of time talking to a lot of different trans femmes, and I don't think I have met a single person who has ever like described to that kind of extreme, like paraphilia of be like. I think there was.
Well, and that same paraphilia could easily be applied to cis women. There are going to be cis women that have that same paraphilia. Paraphilias aren't exclusive to trans women. It's fucking stupid.
So a long time ago, when I was first coming out, like I went to I had a friend of mine who transitioned like a long time ago. She's in her 70s now. She was my trans mom. She helped me like navigate through the beginning parts of my transition, and she's a wonderful lady. She's great. She did kind of come from like more of a fetishy side of stuff, and then she realized like, oh no, there's more to it than, and that's usually like the story of like people who discover themselves through kink, where it's just like, oh wait, there's more to it than just me wanting to have.
I've discovered very specific aspects of myself that are not specifically kink related from kink. I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, that's like not specifically gender, but specifically other things. There are other things about myself that are kind of personal, so I don't know if I want to share them on stream. But there are certain kinks that I have that have helped me discover who I am as an actual person, discover things about myself, my past, etc. And I don't think I would have been able to if I didn't have certain kinks that caused me to be interested in certain aspects of myself. So I just think this is just such a bad argument from Malcom. Like, it's like easily disprovable. I don't know. It's just like,
have happy feels. Like there's like other feelings of like, I want to just like be this person. Like there's more to it than that. And
also, hi Lime.
That's that a lot of people who come from those backgrounds usually discover that. Like that's a thing that I discovered about myself, and I tried to convince myself for a long time that me wanting to transition was just a fetish, and like I stayed in the closet 10
That was one of the many reasons that I avoided it, actually. I'm like, well, I mean, like, I don't know, like, what if this is just like me, because like for me it was like, oh well, what if this is just like a way for me to like be more submissive and breedable in the bedroom, basically. So I guess it would be more of like the HSTS type of trans, I guess, if we're gonna go from Blanchard typology, where it's like, yeah, I want to be even more pathetic as I get railed. But no, I don't think that like I want to get degraded even more. But no, I think that it's like I came to the realization that I don't want to masculinize, not just because it's bad for the bedroom, but just everywhere. I don't want to be masculine in general. I don't want to be masculine when I go to the grocery store. I don't want to be masculine when I go to college. I don't want to be masculine anywhere. I don't want to be masculine in my content. I don't want any of that. I don't want to look masculine. I don't want to feel masculine. I don't want to be perceived masculinely. And I came to the realization that like, oh, I just think that like, I just feel better about myself just in every context when I'm perceived as more feminine, including a sexual context. I came to the realization that it's actually not really a fetish necessarily. It's just that I find sexual experiences to be more pleasurable when I'm not dysphoric. You see the underlying distinction there. It's not transitioning for a fetish. It's something that could be perceived as a fetish at first glance if you don't actually understand why you feel that way in the first place. But ultimately, I just feel better when I'm treated like a woman everywhere, including the bedroom, okay? And no, it's not just because I'm a bottom.
Years longer than I needed to because of that. And like, and like, yeah, I'll admit that this is kind of a sore spot for me because like, I felt like I wasted so much of my fucking life, like trying to, you know, hammer this shit into my head and like think that like me just
don't make fun of me, chat.
Desiring to be a girl was somehow a sexual fetish, even though like 90% of the time when like I would do like role play stuff online, I would just be like in Skype with a voice changer talking to friends while people use female pronouns and using my current name. And like, that's what I would do, spend my time online doing that. And I would call that quote unquote a fetish as like a crutch to try and like not realize that I'm actually trans and like actually
yeah, as a mechanism through which you repress. No, I get what you mean.
Transition. Even though I desperately wanted to, I was just afraid of a lot of the other consequences, and I tried to convince myself of that. And like pushing this narrative of like people transitioning for fetishistic reasons, it's just like I feel like
hello Emily,
that just does way more harm than it does like any kind of good or utility. Like it's just I'm just tired of this kind of stuff being pushed by several different sides, and like it just pushes a narrative that like especially older trans women lesbians like we're seen as like as like fetish people, like fetish porno monsters. Like that's how we're seen. I'm not saying necessarily that's how you see us, but like it's pushed on us on so many different sides, and like seeing.
Sorry, I haven't been here for a while. No worries. Never feel the need to apologize. Speaking of apologies, I'm sorry, but I gotta go take a piss, so I'm gonna keep playing this. Yeah. Be right back.
More of that stuff, like kind of getting like ceding ground to stuff like that. It's just it hurts. It really hurts to see that stuff like spreading and gaining more traction. You know, does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I just fundamentally don't have any like ill will, and I've said that many times. And I think that it's fair. Like again, that there are some people that will transition for fetish related reasons. And I mean, like whatever, it's a free country, do whatever you want. And I don't think there's any like tangible like.
But I'm trying to tell you that like if you perceive it that way, 99% of the time you're probably wrong, and they just like they probably came from like kink backgrounds, and like they just end up like discovering themselves because of that stuff, and because that's the only thing that they could find to like soothe that stuff. Like that's usually the story around people who come from kink communities and stuff. And
if that's true, that just calls for like more selective understandings of like people that fit this mold. It doesn't mean that we toss the whole thing out, right? It would just mean that you'd be more selective in the people that you would accuse of like doing that, right?
I mean, I guess, but like what's the point of accusing people like that at all to begin with? Like why even do, if people are doing that, like what, and there's like is there okay, first of all, here's the big question. If someone like what you're talking about, like let's say like your assessment of Poppy is 110% correct, she's just doing it for fetishistic reasons, what's the problem with it? Outside
I never
of the
said there
other
was a
bad
problem with
behavior
it.
she did.
I never said there was a problem with it. It's just denoting a difference in experience.
So by you admitting that, there is zero utility, no utility at all to like even like.
Is there a utility between? Is
there
there utility between denoting between indigo and turquoise? They're both blue. They're both the same thing. What's the utility in denoting the difference of experience of color wavelengths between indigo and what's the other color I just said? Indigo and turquoise. What's the utility in that? They're describing different experiences, and that offers us great utility. The same way there's great utility in different, like describing the differences between people who are dysphoric and non-dysphoric.
Okay, so let's say for example there were two different words people used as the word turquoise. One of them is the word turquoise, and the other one is sticky poo poo butt face. Like like wouldn't it be better to use the term that like probably like describes it just fine, but also like.
To see to that, I would have to agree that like pointing out different motivations for transition is the same thing as calling it like stinky poo poo butt face or whatever. And I don't think that is. It's just calling to attention to like different motivations for why people do things. And I think it's fine to acknowledge the difference in both of those.
I mean, I don't agree. People transition for whatever reason, and like I think like scrutinizing stuff or things over that, like it's.
You keep projecting onto me that I'm scrutinizing or I have this negative perspective or I'm doing this or I'm not. I have no issue with the way that people choose to live their lives, the reasons that they choose to transition. I don't care. I'm not the fucking trans police. The only thing that I'm doing is calling attention to the fact that people have different motivations for transitioning. That's the whole fucking thing. And I've said the exact same.
Chair called me a slur. Damn, dude. I don't know if I wanna watch the rest of this. It seems like it's like going in. Why is everybody calling me a bottom? Stop it.
Same thing about non-dysphoric people. I've said the same thing about non-binary people. There's a tactical or like a literal like tacit difference in experience between somebody who's dysphoric and somebody who's not dysphoric. Acknowledging that difference is not demonizing the non-dysphoric and putting the dysphoric on the pedestal. Like all it does is acknowledge a difference in experience.
I've heard you had clear disdain over people who do that stuff. So clearly to
clear disdain over what?
Subconsciously.
Clear disdain over what?
Over people who quote unquote transition for fetishistic reasons. So there's
because I think that kind of because I'm vanilla. I think that shit's nasty. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they're like faking trans or whatever the fuck. I just am like I'm not a big fan of people doing their sexy shit.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Is he gonna do his old anti-kink shtick
in public? I'm not a big fan of that. That's what it is. It's not that I think that they're like bad trans people or bad representatives of trans people.
I don't. I think.
What? You think that they're nasty, but they're not bad representatives? Okay. What?
I think that like sexual purity bullshit is also a thing that I'm just like not a big fan of either. Like
that's fine. That's a total difference of perspective.
We can
and that's
reawaken
okay.
the fucking
that's okay.
debate of like should dough be allowed to wear like sandals in public or like.
Oh come on, that's so dishonest framing it that it's that extreme that I don't want people talking about how they figured out they were trans because they watched cock and ball torture lesbian porn when they were fucking 14. That's a totally different fucking thing. Like come on, don't stuff me in that box. I've been nothing but transparent about my intentions about all of this, and to ascribe that to me is fucking crazy.
Alright, dude, this is getting very circular. I don't know. I feel like there's not that much I can add that I haven't already said. And dude, we killed the live stream by talking about this. I'm sorry. Hold on. We're gonna change the title to Goddamnit Malcom versus the Lily Esuna debate. Analysis. Alright, let's start a new stream. Yeah. Dead channel maxing for real. Chat, do we start a new stream? I think we should. I totally think we should, because we just killed the stream, oh no! Dude, I feel like it's super volatile. Like, it goes from, like, above what it would be if it was a horizontal stream to, like, below what it would be. My debate content is killer. Well, I think it's just because it kept going in circles. It's like, I don't know, difficult to watch. Yeah, start a new stream. Alright, bet. Give me a second. Alright, I'm not ending stream for the night. I'm just gonna start a new one, okay?